Alright guys, good morning. It's September 5th, and about 7 minutes to the bell. This is a buy request, so it's going to be higher high, lower lows, and zigzag. I'm going to take a look at a little bit of both of those. It's something really good to know, because higher high, lower low, or zigzags, whatever you want to use, it can give you a warning sign of... I'm sorry, I'm itching my back. It can give you a good warning when a trend's about to end, and it also gives you some nice support and resist levels to trade from. I mean, it can use in a multiple of different ways, and we're going to go over it today. After that, one thing, guys, if you're in my trading group, please email me so that I can get you into the Slack room. I only got about 1/4 of the people moved over so far, so let's get that done, please. Or Skype me, say get me into there, and I'll talk to you so I can get you moved over. I'm still on Skype, but I can't talk in my room. For some reason, I got locked out of it, so I moved to Slack. So please, please, please get your butts messaging me so I can get you moved over to the Slack room so you don't miss out on anything. Alright, so this is a buy request one. They sent me a few indicators. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 indicators, and we're also going to talk about zigzags. Give me a sec, let me answer a few questions. Tomorrow I'm actually doing, because this is, for some reason, a lot of people, their MT4 has been boggy. I had another person ask me about it being boggy. Okay, so first let's get the indicators loaded in that they gave me. So file, open data folder, MQL4, indicators. If you have questions, guys, you can type it into Slack, Skype, or the YouTube chit chat. Hey, could someone do me a favor and post a link to the YouTube page, please? The one that I'm having keeps coming up with, it's giving me a title that I don't want to post. That DAX group, remember how that guy tried to scam me? Well, I contacted the guy who actually runs it, and he booted the affiliate guy, and he's going after him. I mean, he did everything right. I talked to him for a little bit, and they actually seemed to be pretty legit, so I was very surprised. But if someone could just, just drop me a link in Skype, Slack, or something of the YouTube room so I can post it. I'll try again real quick and see. Hopefully it won't give me what I'm looking for. Actually, I can do it this way. We're going to get going here in a minute. Let me post this link. Okay, so let's get the indicators added in. OTF Fractal, never heard of this one. This one I've heard of. And the last one is just a higher high, lower low one. Well, both of them are two different versions. Okay, let's get those in there so I can see them. And compile. That's that done. Now we should be able to see the indicators. Let me tell someone to give me a few. Alright, so let's start off with indicators. Let's start off with the one that had an exclamation point on it. I have no idea what it is. OTF Fractal, 3 minutes to bell. So this is a fractal indicator. Time frame. Oh, it's a multiple time frame fractal indicator. Let's try it on Rinko and see what it does. and invalid, so it doesn't work on this. So no, you can't use it on Rinko. So to whom it may concern, can't do it. Oh, shit, I gotta shut off my EA too. I'm testing an EA that I'm dicking around with. Let me go shut that off. What did it open on? USD JPY. Expert Advisor and remove. And we'll just let those run then. Okay, so the next one was SANGM. Let's find it. Cool, it's already closed. Good. And oh my god, my cat's being horrible. I'm gonna have to toss him out. SANG higher low. Let's see what this one is. Colors visualization. Okay, so there's not much you can do with this one. This one's just basically a higher high, lower high indicator. I guess we're gonna have to explain higher high and lower high first, huh? That might help a little. Let's go to a plain old chart then. File, new chart. Let's do USD CHF. We'll put it on 15-minute. Grid gone. We'll zoom in a bit. Let's do candlesticks. Okay, so in your MT4, this is already built in. You have zigzag. And we're looking for just plain old zigzag. If we go to comments and inputs, 1253, and what's the colors on this one? It's going to be red. I'm going to make it a little bit thicker because we're going to show basically kind of like market cycles too today. And let's zoom out a little bit. So this isn't the prettiest. Let's try see what it looks like on M30, H1. And none of it's pretty, but this is what you're going to have to deal with in real life, so let's just deal with it. M30 had a bunch. There we go. So we got a bunch of movement on the M30. That looks pretty good. The second thing I'm going to do is zigzag, and we're going to do one. Now the inputs I use there are 12, 5, and 3. I'm going to bump it down to 5, 3, and 1. Okay, so and colors we'll do about yellow, and we'll do a dashed. Let's do dots. Hopefully y'all can see these once I'm done. Yellow doesn't pop. Let's do blue. Sorry. Okay, Robin, are you in live? Oh, my zigzag's on my other screen. Let's do Dodger blue. It's my favorite color. That doesn't pop either, though. Let's just, we'll do, I don't know. Then we'll do aqua, and we'll do dashed. Make it pop out a little. Okay, it doesn't exactly pop, so we'll zoom in on these as I go. Okay, so we're using two different types of zigzags. A smaller and a larger. Let me just, I'm still not happy. Let's try pink and this. We're going to be zooming in on it, so. Okay, so the solid is a, I guess you could say, it's not as tight. It doesn't redraw as much, so it's a larger zigzag cycle, and the dash dot one is a smaller zigzag cycle. We're going to zoom in so I can explain that here in a second. And let me turn off the auto scroll. And this is going to get into your higher highs and higher lows too, but I want people to understand it. So I guess this is a good representation. So here's the longer one. And we don't have to understand anything, I just want you to see the longer and shorter. But inside this one move, we have a zigzag that goes up, down, up. So inside this, we have a cycle. I'll get into that more, but I just need you to understand what the cycles are. That there is cycles inside of a cycle. Kind of like how inside of a 5-minute candle, there's a 1-minute candle. If you have questions, guys, just deal with me for a little bit until I get explaining, and then you'll probably catch on as we go. Okay, so let's talk about higher highs and lower lows. What do they tell us? If we're getting a lower high, a higher low, this is hard for me to do because I have to say higher high, lower low, and I get tongue twisted. Let me get some water. Alright. And let's do this too so I can draw. So what do these tell us before I get into getting tongue twisted? They can tell us the general direction of the trend, and they can also give us a signal when the trend is about to change or weaken or go into consolidation. So let's let this get up, and then we will do some drawing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of this, and then we'll do a little bit of drawing. And then we'll throw the indicator on here and see if I know what I'm talking about. Or if the indicator does a good job, one or the other. Either I'm going to be an idiot or who knows. And give me a second while that loads up. Okay, so from here, let's start off with this section here, just so we can make some basic understandings. Let's go to the arrow tool. Green means that we are moving upwards. So here is a new, it's a first move down. We really don't have a pattern or formed or anything yet off this. We do know that this was a move up and a move down. It didn't come down lower than here, so this would be a lower high. So here's our previous low, and this is higher. Now, the next thing we'd notice is this here is a higher low, because here was our previous high. And this would be a lower high. But now let's see what the pattern gives us. So basically for me here, if I just got into this trade and it came down and I was looking to get into another, I would wait here and I wouldn't get into this trade because I want to see where this is going. Is this going down or up? It no longer has, it's going to break the pattern. When I say break the pattern, I'll explain here in a little bit what I mean by it's going to break the pattern. But let's take a look then. Let's get rid of this. So this no longer applies because since this candle here broke the pattern, or this zigzag broke the pattern, we're in a wait. So the next move down comes here, and we get a new lower high. Now the next one comes up, and this is a new higher high. So we've confirmed now we're in somewhat of an uptrend. So I could actually now, at this point, safely probably get into a trade. Is it going to work every time? No. But at least we know. Now here comes this, and if I wanted to be very, very cautious, here's a new lower high. Now I could get in it again. If I got in the trade, it would drop down to here. My stop loss would typically be the previous swing. So this would have been my stop loss. I could have taken a buy here, here, anywhere along here, up to here. And this would have been my stop loss. Trade moves up, you get out. Now, trade moves up to here. We did get another higher high. And price comes here. We get a higher low. But like I said, now, just because it's doing it this way doesn't mean we can get in. It doesn't work all the time, but we did have a hint. We had no hint here that this was going to drop yet. So let's say at that lower low, we waited, and we'd want to see what's happening because we still haven't seen the higher high. But let's say you got in there as a trade. So let's say you got in, we use a blue arrow. Let's say you got in here at this candle because you saw it starting to move up. Your stop loss, which in my opinion would be down here. That's your previous swing low. Sorry, I have people asking about tomorrow's webinar. Tomorrow's webinar, just FYI, is on PC tune-up and MT4 cleanup. Okay, so you could got in here. This trade would still be riding because your stop loss is here. Now, depending on your time frame, I'm not going to get into it too much, but I would want to look at the fact that from here to here is a huge, that's a huge stop loss. And I'm just going to cover this real briefly. What I'd be looking at if I got in right here, is there anything stopping price from going up the amount that I'm going to be risking? Which is, that would be a 60 pip. I mean, this is the M30, so yeah. But we can see it's definitely going down. We'd still be in the trade, but you would be riding this for quite a bit. And for me, that's just too much risk. 60 pips is beyond my window of what I'm willing to risk on a trade. I'm typically 10 to 20 pips is what I'm willing to risk, so it'd be a pass. Let's get into the zigzag, though. Back to that. And then we're going to look at higher high and higher lows. Zigzag is the basis of how higher highs and higher lows are determined. They can be done by fractals, zigzags, however you want to do them. And again, they do give you some good information. Like, we saw that this was an uptrend. Now, the market here is ranging. Ranging means it's flat and just moving up and down. So here, and let me draw little lines. I'm just going to draw lines straight across. And let's change the color on these. And we can see that the zigzags or higher high, higher low doesn't really help us here except to realize that we are in a range. And if you're trend trading, you want to avoid a range at all costs. So here we can draw it. And again, we can draw it. Now, are we getting higher highs and higher lows in any certain order? No, we're not. So we know that we're basically in consolidation or a range. Now, if you're trading like binary options, that's a good time because then you can take these peaks and bottoms and just do a sell here, a buy here, a sell here. My lines aren't exact, so let's not laugh. Here's another one. Yeah, I'm going to try not... I'm just not even worrying about it. And here's another one. Okay, so we can see here that we're not getting a set higher high like here. We had a lower high, then a higher high, then a lower high, higher high, lower high, higher high, lower high. So we have a pattern there. Here we have no pattern. It's just a jumble fuck. Let's use that word today. It's just a jumble fuck. But you can see price is relatively flat. Okay, so let's try and get to something. So hopefully that covers. Are there any questions at this point? I know so far I haven't really explained much. I'm just trying to get the concept across, and we're going to look at it on some real charts and see how it can actually help us. But are there any questions so far? Again, you can type into YouTube, Skype, or into freaking Slack if you're in the Slack group. I'm going to leave that open, and let's go look at some. We'll throw the indicator on. Well, it's on here. And let's walk through. So we have a higher high, then a lower low, then a lower high, then a lower low. Now this is pretty much flat. And then we have a higher high, higher low, lower high, lower low, lower high, higher low. So we see no pattern forming here. Now as we move, we get higher high, lower low. But then it comes up. Now for me, I would look at this as a higher high, higher low, higher high, and this one here is this lower low hit a higher high, so this is a warning that it broke the pattern. So entry could have possibly been somewhere around here, but the pattern was broken. So this here now is most likely what we're doing is we're holding and waiting because we have a warning that this higher low right here, this lower low, bleh, good God, I hate doing these. This candle here bounced back down to a previous higher high. If price closes below this, then I would expect price to go down. If it just bounces here for a little bit and then goes up, then I'd be looking at getting back into a buy. This might just be a big pullback. Let's look at it on here, and this is hopefully... We can see we were flat. And I'll throw a zigzag on here so you can see too. Let's do zigzag, and I'm going to do 531. Common, just so you can kind of hopefully see what the hell I'm talking about. Common. And this is a line chart. You can see there's not much structure here. And let's zoom out a little bit and see what kind of structure we can see on it. Here we can see structure. Pattern was broken here. Pattern was broken here. Okay, let me stop the scroll and we'll zoom in on this so we can see what I'm talking about with pattern was broken. I'm trying to show with zigzag and with higher highs and higher lows so you can get a concept on how to use both together. Okay, so here we have, here's your, I'm not even going to say higher high and higher low. What I'm going to say is higher, then lower, and then this did not move higher, so it's a warning that we might be moving down after we had to move up. So now we're in a warning candle, so we want to wait to see. Remember how I drew a line? Sorry. Remember how I drew a line here? Once the pattern's broken, I go back to my swing, and I draw a line. If price closes below it, then I'm expecting price to move down. This is, again, going to work 100% of the time. If price closes below it, and then or bounces off it and moves up, then we know we're back in. But it closed below, so now we have to wait. Price comes down here. Now we have a new lower high. We could go ahead and take this down. Pattern isn't broken. Price did move up. We can take it down. Pattern is not broken because this closed lower than this. This closed lower than this. This was higher. This was lower than this in a downwards trend. So everything's going like a. Imagine it as stairs. This is going. This goes lower. This goes lower than this. It's like stairs. When the stairs break, then we stop and watch what the market does. Hope we are understanding this. I know it's not the best explanation. I always struggle with explaining this. So here's this candle. It did break lower. This candle broke lower. So if we got in a trade here, now this candle starts moving up. Here's our warning. Pattern was broken because why? This candle did not close lower than here. So our pattern's broken. At this point, I'd probably get out of the trade. If price doesn't close below here and it bounced up, we already start seeing it move up. If it doesn't bounce off of here, I would probably get out of the trade. So right here would be my exit point. I'm trying to, my mouth is really dry today. Okay, so we can see by these lines, this is when pattern was broken. And it basically means sit and wait. Now, if the market's trending and it's just going to reverse trend, that's fine. But it might go into, like I had shown, the garbage, to where it just has no pattern anymore. But here's our, so this resets our pattern. So up, we get a higher, lower high, higher high, lower high, higher high. And then what happens? The pattern is we get in this trade. Where would our stop loss be? So let's say we got in this trade up here. Or even here. I'm going to draw some stop losses where they would be. Here would be a stop loss. So you took the trade. It came down and it moved up. You could have possibly gotten out by then. We had another opportunity where we get in the trade. We could have gotten in here when price started to move up again. And we're going to do this by higher highs and higher lows. But first I want you to understand what you're looking at. It gets up again. Then price comes back down. We got stopped out here. Now we'd watch and it comes all the way down to here. So again, I'm going to remove the stop losses and I'm going to draw a pattern was broken. Why was it broken? It closed lower than all these. So then we start watching again. We get a higher, then a lower. We could get in here and then higher, and this would become our stop loss for this trade. So we could have got in here, got in here, got in here, and let's move it along. And so far, down, up, this one barely breaks it, and then we get this pattern still isn't broken, but this one here is our warning that it's weakening. So I would probably want to sit and chill for on this one if I was looking to get into a trade on anything past this point. And pattern is broken again here, so we're definitely sitting and waiting. So then we can see price moves up. We get a higher, then a higher low, then a higher. Okay, so hopefully the zigzag, that explains a little bit of what I'm trying to show. And let's do object list. Let me get rid of everything that's on there. Delete. Goodbye. Okay, so now let's go back. Hopefully that gives us enough of a basis to look at higher highs and higher lows. So now by these lower low, then higher high, higher low, higher high, we know what to do. So we had a higher high. What are we looking for is a higher low, but it didn't. We can see it goes up, down. And this indicator is because it's not catching all the swings I'd want it to. Let's try it on a different chart. Average pip size pretty small. We can see we're in consolidation here, or a range, but let's go ahead and add it in. Which one did I add in? This was, let me go back and look. We'll take a look at the other one. Indicator list, this was the SANG. So we're going to let's remove it and take a look at the other one, SANG. I think they're going to be about the same if I have to guess, but let's say HH. Where is it? Higher high. This is the one with an alert. Pips high low, sound alert. We don't care about all that. This one I like. It has more colors available, which is nice. Let's take a look at it. And it doesn't run on Rinko, so for me it's no good. Let's try it on here and see if it's just totally dicked. Okay, so it does work on here. Okay, so this one draws lines. And let's take a look at it. That's a shame. This might look okay on Rinko. So this one draws lines of the... This was the lower low. This was the low, and then we got a one that broke the pattern. It makes it easy to see because this should be below it. Now we start moving up. This is higher. This is higher. Pattern broken. This is actually a little bit lower and up. So if I had to guess, we're in a range, and if we look, it's an upwards. Not too bad. So I'll post the indicators and the description with a Dropbox link so you can have them if you want them. It's a shame it doesn't work on here. It'd be kind of interesting. Oh well. Now let's take a look at it. Were there any settings I missed? Pips high low. I don't know. Let's do 3. Pop-up alert, send an email alert, gold, pips range color, and okay. I'm guessing it just can't draw in here. Okay, so for Rinko it's useless. The SA, which one is it? The SANG will work on Rinko though, I believe. So that gives you a little bit of help. So how do we use this in our like normal daily trading? For me, since I trade Rinko, let's look at the one that had the S in it. SA high low. And let's close this. Give me a sec. Alright, so for me what I see is it posts it one after, so it looks like that's how it's drawing it, which is kind of interesting. We don't have a general trend here. I mean, like, if I zoom out on this, we have I'd say slightly upwards trend, what I'd be looking for. I am all over the place. Let me fix my charts so that they're in the right order. Let me close this. And we'll just run through a couple charts and see if we can use it to place a trade. So GBP USD is definitely in an upward movement, but it's flattened out here. See how it's flattened out? It's flattened out. God, I'm losing my voice. Onto my... Oh, sorry. But let's throw it on and see if it helped out with this movement upwards and to identify when it was going to flatten out. I know it's already here, so this is kind of cheating. But in order to, educational-wise, let's cheat. And then we'll take a look. So, colors, visual, can't do a damn thing with it. That's a shame. Okay, so higher high, lower high, higher high, lower high, or higher, fuck me, higher low. When we're in a trend, we want to see H in front of everything. We want to see H, H, HL, HH, HL. Then we had an HH here, but it didn't plot it, HL. So let's see when we break that pattern. Here's HL, 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 lower low, pattern broken. We should not be trading. That's basically the use of the indicator. It shows pattern broke. I know that's simplifying it a lot, but here's lower high, and then we get blue. What we'd actually be looking for if this was going into a downwards trend, then we'd want a higher low, like a lower, oh my god, a lower high. So we would want to see a red pattern forming downwards. We would want to see red, lower high red, then a lower low, then a lower high red, and lower low. Like this here. Here's a lower low, lower high, lower low. So if we would have got in this as a sell, it would have lost because we should see by now that it is flat. And it's just not working. Let's take a look backwards for some more. And you can see this is just a general guideline because it's not going to be perfect. But it should give you a warning of when to get in and out of trades. Here's red, and then we have blue, blue, and then pattern broke. But for me, I'm not going to even get into it for me. This is kind of rangy. Here we can identify a good one, and you can see it rides red all the way down. Again, I'm not going to get super into this. I just want to give a basic explanation of it, because this was a buy request one from someone who doesn't know a lot and want to know how to use the indicators. You can this lower high and higher high, higher low and lower low, all that crap. It's just basically going back to zigzags. So if this confuses you, you can always throw a zigzag on, or you could put the zigzag with this and see how they compare to each other. It is an important concept to keep in mind when you're trading. It is something that, because these also turn into support and resists, which I kind of showed because I use them as a stop loss. A previous swing is my stop loss. Like, for instance, if it's kind of flat, but let's say I got into, here's the move up and it moved down. Now I get my green candle and I want to take a trade. This is my stop loss down here. If I look to the left, it has room to run because there's nothing to the left stopping it. So that goes into my risk-reward ratio. I have to go all the way back to here before I see it. And let's see, that's about 15 pips down, when my risk would have been about 5.1 pips. So that fits in as a proper trade. I'm not going to get into risk-reward management because the person I'm doing this for isn't actually there yet on it. But I'm just going to stop the video here, and I will put it up so that people can have questions, and then I'll do a follow-up on it on Friday. Again, this was a buy request for these indicators, and I wanted to run through it a little bit and try and explain, because he wasn't quite getting them, and I thought zigzags might help explain what they're doing and what they are. So, again, if you have questions, you can type them on the YouTube channel once this is posted. The indicators that I used today will be in the description down here. And that's about it, man. I will take a break. Now I'll come back and just do my normal live stream stuff. But hopefully this helped you out a little bit with the indicators. Honestly, they are good indicators, and once you learn them, you'll be able to spot these on the chart by yourself. Because even though these are here, I don't agree with all of these. Higher, low, lower, high, See, like for me, I see a little swing there, and then upwards. That doesn't matter here nor there. Alright, so let me stop talking and stop the recording. Again, I'll be back in about 10 minutes for a little more streaming.